Welcome back, everybody. I'm Edward Bilder, and I have a big and important video for us. We have to talk about what's happening in Congress right now with the infrastructure plan, okay? Because Joe Biden spoke out yesterday on the importance of solving the debt ceiling crisis and the implications of what can happen if the U.S. should default on its obligations. You got to be thinking, how are all these things tied to the $3.5 trillion infrastructure plan? To set the stage, I talked about this last week here, or maybe a few days ago, when I announced that the $3.5 trillion social plan may be canceled, okay? And all those stimulus payments that come with that may also be canceled. Right now, Congress is battling over a series of events where they're trying to squeeze through the $3.5 trillion plan versus handling the debt ceiling crisis. And this is primarily what Joe Biden came out to speak on. And to set the tone here for you a little bit, remember, if the $3.5 trillion infrastructure plan does not get passed, neither will the $1.0 trillion hard infrastructure plan. And right now, Kirsten Sinema and Joe Manchin are standing firm that they do not even want to negotiate the $3.5 trillion plan. They feel it's too high. They feel it's wasteful spending. And they want to talk about the $1.0 trillion plan, the hard infrastructure plan, to pass ahead of the $3.5 trillion plan. And then at the same time, you have the Republicans on the other side saying, look, you don't need us. The Democrats do not need us to pass the debt ceiling, to raise the debt ceiling, because you could simply use your one left ticket, the one chance of budget reconciliation, to pass this through, and you would have to waste it and not be able to use it on passing your $3.5 trillion infrastructure plan, okay? This could mean, quite frankly, this could be very bad for the U.S. economy, okay? Because for the first time in history, the U.S. could potentially run out of money and not be able to pay its treasury bonds. Now, Janet Yellen spoke out about this last week as well, and she pointed out the date, October 18th, X date, being the date that the United States could run out of money and not be able to pay down their obligations. Now, this could be very bad because for the first time in history, we could default on treasury bonds. This could lead to a spike in interest rates. This could lead to a lower resulting credit rating by the U.S. and could even lead to us losing the reserve currency status of the world. Right now, other countries trust the US dollar and they use it to trade everything. They trade oil with this, they trade anything you could possibly imagine using the US dollars. This could put the United States in a very bad position if it is replaced with a Chinese yuan or possibly a euro. Okay, so Joe Biden came out to address the nation on this, and I'm going to break down to exactly what he said, because right now, from the things that he said, it's actually driving the market a little bit crazy. Everything that's happening right now in Congress. Okay, so Joe started out by saying the debt ceiling is all about paying down old debts, and it has nothing to do with his $3.5 trillion infrastructure plan. He basically said that's already paid for. He is paying for it by raising taxes. It's already paid for, okay? And his perspective, he announced that he believes the Republicans are being reckless and dangerous by standing in the way. Again, that was his perspective. But from the Republican side, they're saying, look, our point of view is that Joe Biden is taking advantage of the 50-50 split right now, where Republican votes are not needed to pass such a bill. They can simply pass the raising of the debt ceiling by using budget reconciliation, but they want to reserve that for the $3.5 trillion infrastructure plan because they know that they don't have our support to get that done. All right, there's no bipartisan support to get both of these things done at the same time. If you want to use that one free pass, use it on something that is more important, is what the Republicans are viewing, and raise the debt ceiling, pay off our debts versus this wasteful spending in a $3.5 trillion plan. So right now, both sides are holding budget reconciliation as hostage and the debt ceiling as hostage as to what exactly they are going to use this on. Now, this needs to be decided on. It's very important that they decide on this week, because the amount of time that it takes to pass such a bill, if they decide that they're going to use budget reconciliation or modify some type of bill to include, they need to decide on this right away, because it takes about 3 weeks to get such a bill passed through Congress, and we are coming up to October 18th. Sooner than we think. And Congress could take a few positions on this. They could go with a $3.5 trillion plan using budget reconciliation. They could raise the debt ceiling using budget reconciliation, or they could create a new bill where they combine the two of them and get this done together. Now, naturally, that would result in lowering the $3.5 trillion plan, which is the most plausible outcome of this. But remember, it will result in having less stimulus for the American people contained inside of it. Remember, Joe Manchin, very firm that he does not want to see any cash payments being sent out. That's the stimulus checks, that's the child tax credits, that could even be forgiveness for EIDL loans. Joe Biden went on to say that without raising the debt ceiling, we cannot pay Social Security, we cannot pay our veterans. And the reason we hit the debt ceiling in the first place was the result of Donald Trump spending $8 trillion to pay for that. We have to now pay for those bills. Now, again, this is his perspective. If you recall, the $8 trillion was the result of COVID relief bills. It was passed in a bipartisan fashion. But he went on to say that defaulting will take our economy over the cliff, and it would be a self-inflicted wound. Those were Janet Yellen's words, to be exact, but he repeated those. He also said failure to raise the debt limit will call into question the debts that we already have incurred, undermining the treasuries, threaten the reserve status of the U.S. dollar, lower our credit ratings, which could increase interest rates on cars and homes. This will, and this is important, he said, this will shrink the value of the retirement accounts and make your savings accounts shrink, okay? And that Americans can see this affect their pocketbooks as early as this week, okay? Thanks to this Republican stunt. This Republican stunt is hypocritical, dangerous, and disgraceful, and he feels that they should stop playing Russian roulette with the U.S. economy. Those were his words. So basically what Joe Biden is doing is he is calling out the Republicans, and he's trying to unite them, unite both Republicans and Democrats, so that he could use bipartisan support to pass this using 60 votes. He doesn't want to use budget reconciliation to pass the debt ceiling, to raise the debt ceiling, because he wants to also reserve that for the $3.5 trillion infrastructure plan. So he's doing this technique of kind of bullying the Republicans into coming over onto the side so that they could pass this, and announcing all of the threats to the U.S. that could possibly happen if this should not go through, okay? Now, really what I see possibly happening here, and this is just my perspective, I see them lowering the $3.5 trillion package and combining the two of them together to get this all done within the next 3 weeks. It's going to be a crazy week, crazy few weeks here, 3 weeks for the market. Is going to be exciting because right now the dip is going to get dipper and dipper and dipper. The market right now is freaking out over the fact that the U.S. could possibly default on their obligations. So personally, I see this as opportunities to get in, buy the dip. And if you're trying to learn how to generate extra cash so you can get into the stock market, check out my crash course right now found in the description. It's on Airbnb, and it teaches how to use real estate to generate tons of passive wealth, passive income. You just end up finding money in your bank account each and every morning. You can take that money and you can get yourself into the stock market, because quite frankly, you need to have extra money laying around to get yourself into the stock market, all right? And if you'd like to learn how you could join my current B&B business, find me on Instagram and ask about my Zoom calls, all right? I'll help you guys get this done. We'll build passive wealth together, all right? Now, Schumer came out to announce that he will not use budget reconciliation to raise the debt ceiling, okay? Sinema and Manchin, they are being chased down right now, and even, this is hilarious, there are kayaks showing up to Manchin's boat right now to pressure him into making the decision. They're chasing him down with kayaks while the guy's out trying to relax on his yacht somewhere. But basically, Joe Biden is blaming Manchin and Sinema for holding out on this overall budget reconciliation process and holding out on the $3.5 trillion package, because they are the only two Democrats right now standing in the way of getting this done. Now, I just want to point out that Joe Biden is pointing the finger a lot towards the Republicans. Right now, he has two Democrats that are also holding out on the $3.5 trillion package. They are standing firm that they will not negotiate the 3.5 until the 1.0 is passed. They want to see that happen first. The hard infrastructure plan, they feel that is more prioritized money, and that the social plan, the $3.5 trillion plan, is a lot of wasteful spending. They would like to see that decreased by quite a bit. And as a result, Joe Biden has officially announced that his package will be smaller than the original package he intended it to be, okay, because of this holdout. Now, that could result in the canceled stimulus, the direct payments. It could result in reduction of the child tax credits. Obviously, no direct payments, no $600 stimulus checks will be going out, and it could potentially affect everything happening in the EIDL world. I know a lot of channels right now are pushing towards having these EIDL loans forgiven, and this could be all at risk should this not go through. So in reality, both sides are really using the debt ceiling crisis as a bit of a hostage situation, because they're all trying to use budget reconciliation to get the things that they want to see get done. Republicans are still saying, you don't need us to pass the debt ceiling limits, to raise the debt ceiling limits. Just use it. Use your one ticket as it's intended to be used, and kick that $3.5 trillion down the road. Now, it could be canceled completely. Who knows? We will track this as this week goes on. More than likely, it will be lowered, and it will include the debt ceiling crisis. I will keep everybody up to date as this unfolds throughout the week here. A lot of exciting stuff. So thank you so much for tuning in for another video. And remember, if you want to continue to support the channel, like and subscribe to the channel, to the videos, and turn on that bell notifications so you get your updates daily here on everything that's happening inside the world, inside the economy. And remember, if you want to continue to support the channel, you could check out that crash course found in the description, how you could use Airbnb to generate wealth starting today. All you need is a $50 bill. Get into the real estate game. You don't have to own the real estate to do this. You don't have to have a fancy credit score or be a fancy realtor to do this. And you get cash flow through Airbnb in 3 business days, earning an extra $5,000 to $10,000 each and every month. And if you want to learn how to get that done, rush up to the description and grab that crash course. It's on a sale right now because I want as many people to have access to this as possible so you can start generating all that extra cash. Get yourselves a new tomorrow. Buy into the dip if you want to buy into the dip, or continue to grow that Airbnb business, whatever you guys want to choose, all right? If you guys would like to learn how you can partner with me in my current B&B business, find me on Instagram and ask about my Zoom calls. That's going to do it for today, folks. I wish you all the best, and I'll catch you all on the next one. Bye for now.